Om Shanti, good morning.
Om Shanti, good morning.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, good morning.
Om Shanti, good morning everyone.
Hope everyone is doing well. Shanti. This thought had been coming to go deeper into the power to forget. When we sit in meditation, we say meditation is all about remembering who I really am, not this role, but a spiritual being within this body who is animating this body. And remember that who we belong to, what is mine, what is not mine. Then associated with this remembrance is the power to forget. And the more I have the power to forget is to kind of eliminate the clutter, to eliminate the waste, because the memory is limited. Just like iPhone is limited memory. So I constantly have to keep deleting unnecessary files. In the same way, in order for my meditation and experience, and in every aspect of life as well, in order for my decisions to be accurate and for me to really have this life where I enjoy every moment without going into the past or the future. This power to forget is extremely important. So the thought was, let us go a little deeper into this power to forget. And there were a few scientific studies as well that have been conducted on this whole aspect of forgetting. And how it is so important in order for us to remember what is important. So to forget what is unimportant allows me to remember what is important. It's like switch on and switch off. Switch on and switch off. So it's like remembrance. It's like my connection to the truth, my connection to the invisible, my connection to the real, my connection to the divine. That is like switching on. But in order for that switch to work properly, I also need to switch off. And so forgetting is like that, switching off. And so forgetting not only past memories or some emotional heaviness, but also it's like forgetting. It's kind of, so I'm pretty much in the now, in this moment. So I'm not carrying anything that happened even today or last few minutes back. So there's no impression that I'm carrying. So everything we say, what in this life, whatever past is, it means I've recorded it inside me. So it exists as a memory. The good part of it is I have the control of my memory. So I can constantly edit, trim, so what I'm experiencing right now is based on what I choose to hold in my mind. This morning we were reading, it's like to have mercy for the self and for others means not to hold any waste in the mind. To always operate from a space of good wishes and pure feelings. So not to hold means it's like cleaning. So forgetting is also like cleaning. cleaning process. Like we clean our space, our homes, and our desk. It's just like that, decluttering, cleaning, trimming, erasing, like gardening, like a gardener. Like a gardener knows what to trim, how to trim, so that there is proper growth. So forgetting is that. So I just am able to hold what is important, leave what is unimportant. And forgetting also, it's like if I were to remember each and everything, then the life will be complicated. No? So I don't remember everything, which makes it easier for me to operate. So our brains are hardwired to forget. And recent studies have also shown that our intelligence quotient does not depend so much on memory, like how much we can remember, but actually depends on how much we can forget. So forgetting is an art, forgetting is a power. And from spiritual perspective as well, it's like I realize that I am a spiritual being, which means that I'm an energy, and so I have been, this body is a costume. I've taken costumes before, I will take later on. But then this continuity means I don't remember, so I've forgotten whatever happened in the last birth, for example, which is important. And so when I realize that everything here is temporary and I'll forget and move on, take another costume, then forget. So it allows me to prioritize. So I focus on that which I, the spiritual being, can carry with myself. So my actions are then based on not some temporary gains or temporary desires, but they are based in permanent experience. They're based in just this pure exchange of love and happiness and greetings and good wishes, because that is what ultimately matters when I leave. It's like, can I leave with a smile on my face? If I have lived my life fully, so living in this moment, forgetting everything else, just this. So just go a little deeper and try and experience this together, this journey. Is light visible to everyone?
Yes, brother.
Yes.
Yeah, the power to forget. I remember when we were in the school and we used to go into examinations, and we would, in our college days, we used to have a lot of exams. So every day, different subject. And so we had to train our mind to remember this one particular subject, at that moment, but then to also forget, so that there is space for the other, to come, and, so this constant kind of trimming is so important. What happens sometimes in life, I tend to remember some things which I should forget, and I forget that which I should remember. So the path of spirituality, we say, why do I forget who I really am? So I should remember who I really am, and I should forget who I am not. So easy, actually, if we see it this way. But generally what happens is, if I remember who I'm not and forget who I am, it's like then I'm giving way for darkness and illusion. Like today, this morning we're hearing the word smoke to come and just cloud our thinking. So to declutter, to decloud, to make way for the light to come, to enter, so that I operate with clarity. This power to forget is very essential. So not the power to remember, but it's very opposite. The power to forget is a necessary condition for our existence. So if I keep on remembering is like, so I'm absorbing everything. And forgetting is more like, I don't let it in. Or if it is in, I just let it go, let it out. It's a necessary condition for our existence. Because if I remember each and every detail, it won't be possible to operate in this moment. So what I choose to forget, and the choice is in my hands. So in science, there's a very nice study that was done recently, 3-4 years back. This is a team from Canada, University of Toronto. And what they researched on is, like they said, that scientists say that being forgetful is actually a sign of higher intelligence. Higher intelligence. So how do I measure my intelligence quotient? Is it on the basis of how much I can remember or how much I can forget? So this recent University of Toronto paper published in Neuron, it's a journal, focused on several studies that analyzed the neurobiology behind remembering and forgetting. So neurobiology, how the brain functions now. Turns out that these two processes interact with each other, allowing for intelligent decision-making in dynamic, noisy environments. And right now we see that when the uncertainty in the world is increasing, which means the noise or it's like change is increasing. So how should I enhance my decision making? The author of the review study, Professor Blake Richards, explains that the real purpose of memory is the optimization of decision making. Optimization. The brain achieves this by filtering out irrelevant details and holding on to things that will contribute to intelligent decisions in the real world. People with the best memories tend to forget about relatively unnecessary details. Something which is unnecessary. It's like a coin. If I look at a coin or a penny, if a penny comes in my mind, the image, I know there is some image on it, but I don't necessarily know the details, what is written on it, or even anything that I use, because some of the details are redundant. It is linked with intelligence, ability for decision making. And so the more I can declutter, it helps me. So this power to forget. And this is one of the powers that the soul is blessed with. It's like in the human brain, if we see, it's like there are regions where they say hippocampus is the region where these neurons and they fire and they attach the emotional weight to any memory, which makes it either easy or hard to forget. And so when the spiritual being, I am aware of my reality, my truth, and not trapped in the world of clutter or noise, then it's very easy to emotionally disengage, detach. Versus if I have given emotional weight to it, then it becomes difficult to forget. So even if I right now feel, what are some of the things that have created a lasting impact? Maybe some pain or sorrow or something that I might have experienced in that moment, in a scene, for example. This morning, there's a scene. So in that scene, if there is a experience of like a fire or a smoke, it means like this vices. What I have to do is to detach, disengage. So this detachment happens through this whole process of forgetting. I choose to forget, detach, and then re-engage from a spiritual perspective. So I forget the unnecessary detail and then come into the scene with clarity, clear perspective. There's a little clip. Let us just watch this about this whole aspect of forgetting and the importance of forgetting.
You go to the supermarket with a list of items in your head. However, as soon as you enter the store, you realize that at least one or two things from the list have slipped your mind. Have you ever gone into your kitchen with no idea at all of why you went there? These situations might be irritating, but you should stop blaming yourself for being forgetful. According to scientists, forgetting things may be a sign of exceptional intelligence. The journal Neuron conducted a study that proved how forgetting things is a natural brain process. And this very process can make you way smarter. The paradox lies in the fact that a perfect memory doesn't always indicate high intelligence. Yeah, you have to accept this. If you remember a lot of stuff, it doesn't mean you're brighter than anyone else. The brain resembles a computer in more ways than you might think. It has a sort of hard drive, aka the hippocampus, where your memories are stored. This part of the brain filters out unnecessary details. By doing this, it optimizes your memory storage. As a result, you remember things that are really important and forget insignificant details. Naturally, your brain can't make its own decisions about what you should forget and what should stay in your mind. It keeps your newest memories, but at the same time, sometimes has to rewrite existing ones. When too many memories accumulate in your brain, they start to conflict with one another. This creates chaos, which makes it hard for you to make the right decision. That's why people who are smarter than the rest tend to forget unimportant details. Their brain just does an excellent job of getting rid of the clutter and holding on to important memories. As you can see, being forgetful is more of an advantage than a weakness.
It's like being forgetful is more of an advantage than a weakness. So I'm able to constantly edit and trim the unnecessary detail, insignificant. I remember we have a very nice brother in India. I think he joined us also once. His name is Brother Swaminathan. And his specialty, he gives lectures on memory management. So what he does is he would go to a program and then he would ask people to just, tell him the names of, some objects or people in an order. like 30, 40, 50, and he would repeat them, in the same order and reverse. And if you ask the number, he will see the name, or if you ask the name, he will see the number. And so he was saying that once what happened was, there were 3 programs in one day, and all 3 programs, the same program. So he said, what I had to really do that time is to really sit in meditation after the program and then just forget, erase everything, because the same numbers will now get associated to different words in a different program. And so this constant formatting is very important. And that's why in meditation, where the suggestion is whenever we start a task, begin a task, or end a task, we do that with a moment of silence. So I'm about to begin a task, I create a moment of silence. And in that moment of silence, what I'm doing is I'm just formatting, just like in the videos, like formatting. So I'm eliminating the unnecessary, I'm focusing on the necessary, and then just I'm coming into the action. And even after the action, so that I don't carry any heaviness, so I again take a moment of silence. And then in that moment, I again trim out. So I forget the detail, I remember the lesson and move forward. So then what happens is, like on a deep subconscious level also, it doesn't allow me to carry the emotional burden. Now, sometimes this thing can come up even in our dreams. Now, like if I have, watched something or said something or thought about something, then it emerges in the dream in one way or the other. But if I use this practice of constant formatting, it's just like rebooting the laptop, for example. I can't, like yesterday, what happened is we were in the middle of a program and my laptop just rebooted. Because it wasn't rebooted for a long time. So, but then this constant rebooting is so important. I have to just reboot. Because what happens is the scientific phenomena that is happening is, it's like, how is a memory created? It's all about, the neural pathway that is forming. So memories strengthen connections between neurons. So neurons are brain cells. Cells in the brain are called neurons, making one more likely to trigger another. So what is a memory? So I sense something and then it triggers a pattern. And that's how a memory is created, like a constant triggering. So when a memory is created, levels of both neurotransmitters and receptors increase in the synapses between the neurons involved. It's like this electrical signal, and then there's a neurotransmitter molecule, and this is the receptor. So when the pathway is built, this is where a link is then created. And so by constant formatting, what I'm doing is I'm not allowing a pathway to get built. And generally what happens is when I deeply check myself, why do I tend to react, for example, to certain situations or people or things? It's because I have somewhere built this, this signal, very strong signal inside. But with this constant practice of formatting, I'm able to not allow this to happen, of certain incidents that I don't want to perturb me emotionally within the mind. This is also called like clearing the chit. The Hindi word is chit, or English word is, it's like the track, like the subconscious track that is going on. It's constant formatting is important. That is what is forgetting. Let us go a little deeper and ask ourselves, I'm talking about forgetting, what exactly? So I'm forgetting what? So emotional pain or attachments. So in that process of formatting, So what am I formatting? So if in a scene, there was a scene, and if there was any feeling of hurt or pain or attack, it can come. No? But in that moment of formatting, I just trim it. Past old memories which may come. So I'm about to begin a task, or I'm with someone, and then their personality, or what the time I spent with them, maybe a few months or years back, all of those memories may come. And that doesn't allow me to function properly. Yeah. This is called wasteful thoughts now. Now, when we talk in meditation about, transforming the waste to best thoughts, all of this is part of the waste thoughts. Opinions of others. Sometimes we carry, this one thinks this about me, that one thinks that about me, or about something else. So that is also something that I need to trim. Corporeal feelings. Corporeal feelings means feelings of the earth. So corporeal feelings, we say, are feelings that are based in one or the other vice. We say ego, attachment, lust, anger, greed. So any feeling that is based in these, to kind of just trim it. And say effect of actions, effect. So every action that I perform has an effect on my mind. Like the other day we were discussing this. For me to become perfect, I don't need to have effect of anything. Because an effect causes a defect, which means that it makes the consciousness, defect is when this bond has happened, that neuron has, defect means now that pathway is created, and then I will have to make more effort to undo it. So one is to, look at what I have to undo and then use meditation and deep silence to do that. But the other attention is to not even allow that to happen. And that's a conscious practice during the day of trimming and, formatting my mind. So ultimately, forgetting is like clearing the memory track from all this clutter. And a very easy way to do this is what we practice in meditation. A very easy way to do this, we say, is the practice of becoming bodiless. Bodiless, meaning that all these are part of all these feelings or emotions or thoughts are based or rooted in body consciousness. We say role consciousness. So when I become bodiless, means in my mind, I'm just seeing myself detached, a point of light, just observing the body down below. Let us do this right now. I am a point of light, a point of peace, like a tiny star, and I am beyond the pull, the gravity of the body. So I can see this body from above. This body is down below. And then I come back to play my role. So this constant practice allows me, it just takes a moment or two, but it allows me to constantly have this priority set. I am a spiritual being. This is body. Because all these are based in body, in the role. So a very interesting practice here, or this realization that allows me to do this when I'm practicing this, is what we say, wake up, the act of waking up. So wake up to remember the reality. Come out of the dream. So in this moment that I am taking, this is what I'm doing. So it's like, so if I'm sleeping and I'm in a dream, but the moment I wake up, I realize, oh, that was a dream. That's not my reality. And then in a dream, I can easily forget the dream. Although during that dream, I may be in that, consciousness, but then the moment I wake up, I forget the dream. I remember the reality. And so this practice of waking up. So if I'm carrying any thoughts in my mind, I just, in that moment of formatting, say, is it for real, or is it based in illusion? Is it for real, or is it based in illusion? Is it based in some fear or insecurity of the story? Or is it based in the truth, the reality from beyond? And then I'd say, oh, if it is based in the story, okay, let me just come out of it. Let me wake up. And so when I wake up, and then I see the sun. So meditation is all about waking up. So I wake up. So in meditation, it's a process of waking up. So I wake up and I experience the sun, the divine. So this constant practice, it just needs a little attention, that's it. I don't let my guard down so that I just slip into the dream world. And so whilst doing everything, then I'm not asleep, I'm awake. Like this morning, we were hearing how to, have good relationships and interactions with one another is through the exchange of God's energy in our relationships, is to keep greeting with happiness. And how can I do that? How can I stay beyond the corporeal or the limited exchange of energy to bring in God, to bring in the divine, pure vibration, is to just stay awake. I stay awake. I stay awake. Means I realize I'm a soul, and in this body, I'm talking to a soul. I'm talking to a soul. Not the role, but the soul. It easily allows me to come out of the dream and wake up, to remember the reality. And when I wake up, in this waking up stage, I realize that what is important and what is not important. And so for me, one thing that helps me a lot is just this realization that what's important is everything that is invisible. And what's not important is everything that is visible. So the invisible. Invisible means the energy, the intent, the energy is important in any interaction. Am I from within? What is the frequency, consciousness that I'm holding on to? So the external, the visible is not that important. What is important is the invisible. So can I just let go, just not focus on the face, but just the light. So I don't make unimportant things important. Like in the video, we say, it's like the soul that decides what I choose to remember and what I choose to forget. So whatever is important for me, I automatically remember. And what is unimportant, I choose. I can easily forget. So let me just take a moment and realize that, let me just prioritize the invisible energy, exchange of love, exchange of happiness, the exchange of that warmth and the speciality, looking at everyone with their speciality, which is invisible, which is an energy, not allowing the clutter or the unimportant things of who said this, what someone feels to enter my mind. No, that is not important. That is all visible. It belongs to the visible world. But I feel I am invisible, a soul, a being of light. And I belong to the sky, not the earth. And so my priority is inside out, not outside. The word invisible, we say invisible. Means whatever is inside, is then visible to me. Means I zoom in to the invisible. I zoom out of the visible. Like this Zoom, we are on the Zoom call. Zoom call is allowing us to zoom in to the invisible. Zoom out of the visible. That's constant practice. I zoom out of the visible, zoom in to the invisible. Then I can easily just let go, forget the detail. That's not important. Another practice that it actually helps me a lot is as I talk to myself in third person. I talk to myself in third person. Because whenever I use the word I, then there is an emotional baggage associated with it. Because then I identify myself. I have identified myself with so many things. People, situation, years, childhood memories, everything that comes. So I was practicing this, sometime. So it's like, what happens is, if anyone says the name Saurabh, there's some the feeling would be, oh, they're talking to me. But if I just stay within and they're talking to Saurabh, but that's not me. That's not me. Saurabh, that's not me. I am a soul. I am a soul. It's not me. And then even if, let's say, there was a hectic day at work or got tired, so like, oh, Saurabh had a hectic day at work, for example. Saurabh was tired. Or someone said this to Saurabh, or Saurabh was feeling down, or Saurabh was feeling this, or even elated, or so there's a sense of detachment. So I don't get engaged too much in the story. It's a very good practice. It's like talking to, I see myself in the mirror also and say, okay, I'm talking to Saurabh. I am so. It's a different person altogether. It's like this detachment. It really allows me to format, reprioritize. So I wake up and see the important, the invisible, and I talk to myself in the third person. Even in science, they say it's like a very easy way to de-stress is this. Just talk to yourself in the third person. And we all know that we are all good advisors when it comes to advising somebody else. What they should do, or for example, no problem. But when it comes to me, then it becomes difficult. So talking to third person is a very easy practice. Another experience that also helps me a lot is when we talk about forgetting the role or trimming, pruning the unnecessary, the detail. It's also about remembering my true nature. And this whole aspect of nostalgia, it's like, the streets where we grew up, the homes where, we spent our childhood days or our college, especially all those things, we tend to remember a lot. And we have an emotional connect with it. And so when I realize that as a spiritual being, that I'm on a journey and to feel nostalgic about my home, where I came from, to feel nostalgic about it. So then, we all experience, I'm going to my home in meditation, the home of the soul, where the soul lives in absolute silence with the divine. So in that, it's not just a practice, but a nostalgic experience. Oh, now I remember, this is how I used to live. This is how I used to be. Like today we were listening to it, like going back to home and then coming down, going back and coming down. This nostalgia, this return journey, back to my essence, the essence of where I started my journey from. So I, the spiritual being, beyond the physical world, the spiritual dimension, that's where I belong. That's what all of us belong. Then what happens is, the more I feel nostalgic, I'm actually then creating those beautiful links in the neurons also. So next time I sit in meditation, and then that experience will pull me. So I don't have to create it, but it will pull me. And then I'll automatically feel, oh, I'm getting pulled into that experience of going home, of being with the divine, spending time there, and it'll feel like more and more real, more and more clear, and more I'll begin to feel the presence of the divine without any effort. Stands here. So even now, if I just take a moment to feel, this is a state, this is a role, but my home, as a soul, spiritual being, is the world beyond. Where I live with the divine, I spend time with the divine in silence as a point of light. In absolute stillness, in the presence of divine. And then I come here to play my part. I feel nostalgic about my home and the return journey. And so what essentially I'm training my mind in meditation is this, is creating moments of absolute reality beyond the dream world. So I don't need to essentially sit for hours and hours. It's good if I can, but it's all about, in that few minutes, can I just experience myself completely, forgetting the entire story, forgetting the entire dream world. So in these few moments, I know I experience myself as a spiritual being. This is truth. It's not even meditation. This is real. This is the real reality. So I create these moments of just plugging into this absolute reality beyond the dream world. So in this moment, then all what I can see is this beautiful beings of light with our souls. They're loved by God, they belong to God, they're a family of God, they have nothing to lose, their life is filled with happiness, they have a lot of love and respect for one another. That's what they are, beings of light. And one of them is who I am also. And so more I just focus all my thoughts on just those few moments of experiencing that reality, creating it. In spiritual terminology, we call it drill. But drill is essentially this. A drill is this, that where I'm not practicing anymore. It's much more than practice. It's like, this is real. This is what there is to life. And suddenly everything which is corporeal feels like a story, feels like a game. Today we were hearing the word hero actor. Hero actor means like I am a hero. I wake up to my part as a hero. And a hira is a diamond. So I'm diamond. So diamond is untouched, pure, brilliant, powerful, shining. That's who I am, and that's who everyone else is in this world. And so then I begin to just see the world from above. From above. The earth is below, I am above, I'm just seeing it. So that's my internal stage. And the more I experiment with this, then it's like I forge relationship with the one who never forgets me. There is only the one who never forgets me, the spiritual being. See, everyone else, because we are in the story, we relate to each other in that level, right? Even the, physical, all the relationships, they are based in the body. And so after I leave the body, it's like I, the soul, am gone. And so there are new relationships, new family, new friends, everything new. But there's only one who never forgets me, the soul. And so I forge my personal relationship, belonging. When I've forged, means that neural exchanges become very, very strong. And then I can experience, I can feel the presence of the divine in everything that I do. And then I feel that I just have to say with my heart, just invoke, and I feel the presence. I invoke, I feel the presence. It's like the power of just saying from the heart. This is when the relationship has been forged. So forge, to forget. To forge the relationship with the one who never forgets me. In order to forget the unnecessary, to forget the dramas, to rest my mind, to just rest my mind on the one is meditation. Manmanapa, you see. Let's take just a moment to rest our minds on this most beautiful being who knows me completely, who's waiting for me beyond the sky, like a shining sun. His heart is filled with utmost love and respect for me, because he knows my true potential. He knows my story, my eternal story. He knows how I was when I was perfect. And he's reminding that to me, the divine. I just bathe in this presence of the divine, this divine energy. I take my mind beyond the story. I wake up to the reality beyond the dream world, into the invisible. And I just hold the divine in my mind. This is where the reality lies. This is where the true experience is. This is where truth exists eternally. This is where I feel safe, secure. I feel I belong here. I feel nostalgic, an experience of belonging to the one. I just remember remember, remember. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Thank you, all the angels, for your time, presence. I'd like to open up.
Saurabh, it is a real and excellent presentation. You rightly highlighted for a person to be successful in life, it is and successful and peaceful and take the right decisions and right relationship in life. It is important to have the power to decide what is necessary, what is important, and what is not important, and only embrace what is important and remember it and forget what is the waste and unnecessary things. It is really an excellent presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Krishna Bhai. Appreciate it. Thank you. Any other thoughts?
Om Shanti.
Om
I
Shanti.
like when you said forgetting, it's like decluttering our mind. It's beautiful. Take all, just remember things which we need and forget everything. Otherwise, we'll be bogged down with so many things that important things won't be there for us. So to remember important things, we need to declutter. Very nice. Beautiful session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Om Shanti, brother.
Shanti,
Yeah.
Saroj Bhai.
Very nice, very, very thorough and scientific explanation of how our mind works. And to remember important things, we have to forget things. And we have to, how we do that, that you gave a very good example. That first we have to create the space, delete whatever is not required, we have to delete, and then create the space and format the space so we can hold on important things. And I like so much when you say that how to recognize what is important, what is invisible is important, and what is visible is not that important. And invisible, you said very nicely, what is inside will be visible from us. That is the example. Very nice. And to forget things, we have to forge with one. So that one will give us power to delete and hold on to him. Beautiful, beautiful explanation. Thank you, brother, for taking so much time for us.
Thank you, Saroj Bhai.
Thank you, family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti. Saurabh, this was a very nice presentation, as always is, and there are very important things that you highlighted, and some of those are like forgetting is in our control. We can control these things. So it is just like switching on and off. So past memories or whatever is not important, we can remove those things. And very rightly said that the purpose of memory is optimization of the decision making. So if we have if we want to make right decisions, then we have to forget unnecessary things and reboot or reformat our memories. And I think the nature has also provided the same way that we cannot remember the things from the past births, and so the roles that we play do not clutter. So this is an example of a classic example of forgetting that, okay, if we forget the past births, what becomes important is the role that we are playing now, So that's a very important thing. And the 2 or 3 points that were mentioned were like forgetting the emotional pain, attachment, past and old memories, opinions of others, which is very important. That clutters are, that takes lot of space in our minds, so that decluttering is very important there. And the effect of actions, basically. Finally, I think the last sentence was the most important one, that I forge relationship with the one who never forgets me. So the roles that we play on this, in this body, uh, as we leave the body, we'll forget all these things. But the eternal, or say our eternal companion is going to be the one we should not forget, and that's will always be with us, and that is what we should remember, and that is the right way to remember the right and forget the wrong. Very nicely said, and the forging is like, when we say in engineering terms, forging is hammering, just trying to remove all the forging is making the metal very strong, in the sense that we remove all the voids in a metal so that it becomes in a forged condition. So that is how we should do that, declutter all the stuff that we have, and just have the things which will make us stronger, and create a strong bond with the one. Om Shanti. Thank you very much, and Om Shanti.
Thank you, Kavalbhai, for sharing such a beautiful, explanation and summary in your experiences. Sharing. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Om Shanti, Saurabhai. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for a beautiful explanation, including all those medical part, which is very beautiful, very explanatory. So important points are, first, either soul has to prioritize which one is important, which is not. So we have that choice. Once we understand the knowledge, we know that we have the choice. So which are important, which are not. So important is the invisible ones, and unimportant are the visible ones. Once we prioritize that, then it is very easy to forget the unimportant. Once we know these are unimportant, so it will be easy to forget. So that's how I feel like that starting point. And our aim should be perfect. That means free of defect, which is become the effect free. We should not be affected by anything. That means do not create a memory tract. If we create a memory tract because of the situation, we have to undo it. So it takes a long process. So aim is to be effect free. I think this is the explanation of the Avyakta Murli we discussed on Friday, to how to become perfect. So most important part is that I think the main mehnat of Purusharth is to become effect free in first place, not to be affected at all, and then we can be perfect and complete. So that's one. And also wake up to the reality beyond the dream world. So we have to be awake all the time. So that means we should be connected with divine and hold divine on my mind. And at the end, the fourth relationship with divine, who knows me and who never forgets me in any birth. So yeah, beautiful, Saurabhai. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kusumben. Shared such a beautiful summary and explanation. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Om Shanti, Saurabhai.
Om Shanti, Sister Jena. How are you?
Fine, thank you. As usual, very, very inspirational and motivational. I am just thinking about something. Maybe you can clarify it for me. There was one slide about I talk to myself in the third person. You know, there's a fine line between I talk to myself as an individual, and I talk to myself in the third person. When do I do each one? I hope I have explained.
Yes, no, very nice. It's like,
It's very, very subtle, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. Very nice.
Thank
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this thing up. And it's like, so when I talk to my real self, it's like contemplation, it's like going deeper into, so that's more like reflective. That's more like when I choose to go deeper into a point of the Murli, or going deeper into it. So then I'm trying to awaken. So I'm talking to myself in that way. But then if I'm on the field of action, and where there's something which is troubling, or something which I see is, kind of making me shake a little bit, for example, and then in order for me to stand firm and for that storm to not shake me up, it's like then I just talk to myself in the third person. Okay, this is not happening to me. If there is a problem, it's not happening to me. It's happening to the role. It's happening to that name, not to me. So that way I kind of de-amplify the magnitude of the earthquake in a way, for example. So there's an earthquake happening, but I just de-amplify it. So I don't take anything personally. If something is happening, someone is saying something, just for an example, and then if I'm taking it personally, I'm letting all of their opinions and thoughts just sink in, which will create hurt within. No. So in that moment, if I just say, no, that's not me, it's the person, not me. So I have detached myself from that.
Many thanks, Saurabh. I will just share very, very shortly the nostalgia, the return journey.
Please.
You know, when you reach a certain age, you have finished your professional career, or whatever you have lived for your family, your kids, and when you go, I mean, it comes automatically at one point of a day. You haven't done this, you have known such and such people, right? Many during COVID, many passed away, and it comes constantly in your mind. Okay, maybe I will see them. But how do you conquer that thought? Thank you. Thanks.
Can you say that last sentence again, sister?
How do you, I mean, reconcile with yourself? Okay, I must not be sad. I must forget. That's the past. But Trikaldashi, the past, the present, and the future. But how do I reconcile myself every day when there are so many things happening? Thank you. Thanks.
Absolutely. And for me, thanks for bringing this up. And for me, this morning time of, this listening to, the Murli, and just that whole experience is so empowering, because that is the experience that allows me, the soul, to be detached from, all these feelings. Because, the way, like in different ways, we are taught about who we are, where we have come from, how long it's been here, what we used to do, how it used to be. And so slowly and slowly it becomes much more than just a concept or an idea. It becomes my reality. And somewhere those words just sink in so deep that that's what it becomes, my primary, thought process. And so when I become nostalgic more and more towards those words that we hear in the morning, in the morning class, that actually allows the soul to really awaken, and also be, in those times, times of loss or grief, to really have those good wishes and vibrations for the soul to realize we are still together because we are still connected spiritually, and to also allow that vibration to reach their family and friends. And so it's like a new chapter has begun now. This old chapter has ended with this body, with this knowing, but now a new chapter has begun. But eternally we know that we are together because we are all with the divine together.
Thanks for this enlightenment, brother. Thank you, Om Shanti.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sakai.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Actually, we did not like concentration से नहीं सुना, but वो जो video चल रहा था ना, in that it was saying कि when you have so many things in your brain, it doesn't mean you're intelligent. It's का meaning क्या, if you can throw some light on that.
Yeah. So it's like we were saying is generally, sometimes we may think if I can retain a lot of information, then I'm intelligent, but it's actually, it sometimes may just make the mind very heavy and cluttered. So intelligence is measured by my ability to be clear in my decision making, which may not always happen when I hold on to a lot of information. So, but if I'm free, so my space is free so that I can act, I can make a decision very, in a very clear way, powerful way, for which forgetting is important. And so that allows me to make wise decisions, clear decisions.
So does it mean that when it goes in LTM, that is long-term memory, it's difficult to remove, right? So we need to do it every day, the clearing. Then only it will be vanished from the short-term memory.
Very nice. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, so this cleaning has to happen. That's why, like, all our, when we say traffic control or when we say drills, all these are, kind of meant for this so that it doesn't really sink in, and then we are just cleaning up. Yeah. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Om Shanti, Sarabhai.
Om Shanti.
Thank you for the beautiful session. The whole essence what I took from the today's session is to remember, always to remember in the soul conscious and to be with divine Baba, and to forget the role conscious, that's the body conscious. This reality makes easy to go back, the return journey. Yeah, this is the essence I took.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And I would like to share this also. When I first came to Gyan, the blessing I got is, you may sometimes forget God, but God never forgets you.
Oh,
yeah.
how beautiful.
I always remember that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sarabhai.
Thank you for sharing that. Very nice. Any other inspirations?
Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Joy.
Thank you very much again, Brother Saurabh, for bringing this message to us. For me, what it did is really just added more information to our, our discussion this morning. Just kind of zeroed in more specifically, like I use the word vibration this morning. So you touched on that very specifically when you talked about creating a new format for trimming the neuron. And saying, I'm beyond the pull of the body, the gravity, I'm beyond the gravity of the body. So that vibration, you know, that's down here. Whereas like, I'm just realizing with you all in the BKs, I have that vibration with you two, but that vibration isn't down here, it's up there. Right? So I mean, it's just, and it's all of a choice. Where do we want to be? Do we want to be having the experience down on earth in body consciousness, or do we want to have it in the sky, in the angelic realm? And then, so how do we do that? How do we go beyond the pull of the gravity by focusing on the point of light in that moment, and then traveling to the sky? Again, this kind of back and forth, really kind of like I'm going to say a spiritual exercise that we do when we're in these relationships that we're in them, because there's something for us to learn. And if we're not able to stand above and see ourselves in this third person like you're talking about, we're not going to be able to see the larger picture of it, because we're down here on the earth in our feelings versus in the sky in our a divine essence soul of ourselves, observing it that way. And the last thing that was really cool for me is that this is the first time that just the basic, I don't know what you guys call it, but I just gave it like this title, the BK spiritual gyan. And talking about this topic and everything, I totally was able to see like the whole picture of the BK spiritual dawn about incorporeal world, and you know, incorporeal world, body consciousness, soul consciousness. Yeah, and just see how all that ties in. Because I knew about, you know, several years ago about what happens as far as the making the memories, what's going on. When I realized that, that's what allowed me to finally begin to pull myself out of this severe depression from losing my son, because I realized, oh, that's why I can't pull it out. It's just like this record going over and over. And then I had been in that for years. What I had done in the past wasn't working anymore, like an affirmation. An affirmation wasn't working anymore. So like, it worked before, why won't it work now? But that's because it was so deep, that pain. But it was also because I didn't have any spiritual knowledge to teach me, you know, how to pull myself out of that. And that's, of course, you know, that's what the Brahma Kumaris does for me, is gives me this, again, I'm going to call it this spiritual gun, because as human beings, we have this need, or I have. I mean, my mother told me that like in 2nd or 4th grade or something, the teacher said, Joanna always has to know why. So I don't know if it's me or what, but I always have to kind of know why. But we always, as a human being, need to understand. So we can say an affirmation, but if we don't understand how the affirmation actually works, you know, it can't really heal. It brought me to a certain level of healing, but not at the deepest level. It can't, because it's an intellectual exercise. So being able to see how the specific examples that you gave about pulling away, looking at the third person, point of light, going to the sky, that all ties into the corporeal, incorporeal, the BK spiritual gyan that, you know, that gives us that understanding, you know, that understanding of how when we do this, this is why it works. You know? So it's just beautiful. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sister Joy, for sharing so beautifully your experiences. Beautiful. Okay. Any other inspirations? Sure. So thank you all angels. We have a few blessings. This one is for Sister Joy. Your goodness is powerful and wise because it radiates like a warm sunshine, both on those who are good to you and those who criticize you. You understand nothing is personal and that difficult people are cloaked angels in disguise. Wow, it's amazing.
Yes, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
so
Thank you. Shanti. Krishna Bhai, your humor blooms like wildflowers from the soil of a good and pure heart. We uplift others with the healing power of laughter and unbridled joy. Thank you,
Thank you very much, Saurabh bhai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bhai. Saroj Ben, your goodness lies in the power of your pure feelings. You wish to uplift not just those who know you, but all of the mankind. These pure wishes work like a magic spell that dispels sorrow and enables others to rise up to their magnificence.
Oh, very nice. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. Kavalbhai, by anchoring into your goodness and peace, you protect others from getting lost in the sea of sorrow. In your presence, others feel secure and serene.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Rekha Ben, each morning you turn on the light of spiritual awareness. This simple practice illuminates your goodness and turns you into a living lamp that provides light and guidance to those who are lost. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And this one is for Bhartesh Bhai. Your good heart is a sacred space that welcomes the world. Those who enter hear the bells of sweet silence and remember their holy beauty.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is for Adi. Adi is back now.
Oh, yes, he's back.
Adi, you understand the real revolution that is needed is the awakening of goodness within. Through your awakening, you shift the planet in powerful ways and prove that peace and love can turn the tides. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarabhai.
Kusum Ben, you have an innocence that is unconcerned with the opinions of the world. You dance fully with each moment, revel in the beauty of life's perfection, and light up the world of those who know you. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarabhai. Om Shanti.
And Nirpesh Bhai, you brighten the dim and dark corners of the world by knowing there is untold benefit in every moment and pure goodness in every soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarabhai.
Thank you.
One quick question, Sarabhai. Is it like a forgetting? Is it similar, same as ignoring? Like, is there any difference between ignoring and forgetting?
Yeah, it's a good point. It's like ignoring. So I'm not allowing or I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
To something that is not important. So definitely is important to, when I'm not allowing things to go in, then, ignoring is very important and as a part of forgetting. And then another aspect of forgetting could also be like where I consciously, it's like I'm, forging relationship with the divine so that I'm, what is very like a heavy imprint, which is already there of last many births, then they're also kind of erased in that way. So that's
because ignoring, to ignore is within your control, but like forgetting is kind of like an involuntary. Whatever goes into your brain, you can't like voluntarily forget that, right? Unless your brain erases it like down the maybe several years down the line. But at least ignoring, you can do it immediately. Let's say if I see something, I can ignore. That's voluntary. But if I see something, I can't forget that.
Right.
now. I might forget it 20 years later, right? Because whatever goes in the brain stays in. That's how the brain works.
Very nice. And one of the aspects where, it's like when I ignore also, it's like I don't allow the emotion, for that emotion in that scene to kind of affect my mind. So the scene I may remember, but then the emotional, or, if it is a scene of hurt or pain, then I don't carry that pain within. It's like, even if I remember the incident, but I don't have those heavy emotions associated with it. It's a very nice word to use, ignore. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And Kushal, you bring the deepest joy possible to those who know you, because your presence spotlights the goodness within them. In your company, they remember the wonder of their true nature.
Thank you, Sarabhai.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
he was
Thank you.
here. He just left for
Sure.
doing homework. Thank you,
Sure.
Shanti.
Thank you. Sonam Ben, you inspire trust in others because they know you wish for their well-being. Because of this, the good and true treasures of life are always on your doorstep. Thank you. Purnima Ben, in a world driven by performance, you emerge goodness in the hearts of those who witness the beauty and power of your being. This alone inspires them to live from the heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Saurabhai.
And this one is for Divakar Bhai and kids. You've taken time to discover what is good and magnificent inside of you. You're now ready to serve from this rich space and are destined to light up the world. Very nice.
Thank you, Saurabhai.
Thank you.
Om Shanti.
Sister Jena, your goodness has turned into greatness because of your humility. You understand your talents are gifts from the divine, and they've been given to serve the mankind.
Thank
Beautiful.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Shanti.
Shanti. Bindu Ben, you understand. This is it. Bindu Ben, your goodness lies in your wise way of loving. While seeing the true potential of others, you give them space to make mistakes, knowing it's their trail towards wisdom.
Thank you, Aji. Beautiful.
Thank you. Anil Bhai ji, Anil Bhai ji ke liye, your goodness lies in the power of your love. It penetrates defenses and lights the blazing fire of courage and beauty in those who know.
भाईजी एक बार फिर से बोलेंगे please.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Your goodness lies in the power of your love. It penetrates defenses and lights the blazing fire of courage and beauty in those who know you.
Thank you. We have one more show. It's an Eres Dada. Can
Sure.
you?
Yeah. Dadaji, for you. Wherever you go, you leave a trail of kind deeds. These deeds soften the harshness of the world and fill your heart with the wealth that cannot be erased by time.
Thank you, Vaiji. Thank you. Beautiful. He's listening though. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And Sister Lute, your magical eyes are windows that invite others to wander into landscapes of spiritual goodness. Very nice. Thank you. And Arshna Ben, you have the courage to follow the voice of truth within. You trust it will take you to a place where a higher music can pour through you and inspire others to dance to the beat of their goodness.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Thank you, angels. Appreciate your time and presence. Have a great rest of the day. Shanti.
Thank you, Shanti.
Shanti.
Thank you so
Read
much.
one for yourself. Saurabh.
Where is it? For yourself.
This is for Saurabh. Through your generous heart, you've become a dear friend to humanity. Because you always look for the chance to give, goodness fills your being the way water fills the ocean.
Very true.
As
Very
you are.
true. Very true.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
family.
Thank you, family. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Om
you,
Shanti,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you. Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti.
Namaste.